Okay guys, now we're going to look at reciprocal trigonometric ratios. Okay, there are again 3 different things to this, and yes, you have to memorize this like you do with your sine, cos and tan trigonometric ratios. Okay, so I'll just show you this and introduce this step by step, one by one. So starting with sec theta. Okay, I'm not sure if you ever heard that before, but sec theta is basically 1 over cos. Okay, 1 over cos theta. Okay, so see how that's the reciprocal of cos theta? So the reciprocal of cos theta, which is 1 over cos theta, is going to be sec theta. Okay, therefore 1 over cos theta is going to be hypotenuse over adjacent. Okay, remember how cos theta is adjacent over hypotenuse? Therefore 1 over cos theta will be hypotenuse over adjacent, just the reciprocal. Okay, and again that is sec theta, so remember these specific names. Okay, now the second one is cosec theta. Okay, it's called cosec theta, and that is 1 over sine theta. Okay, so that's the reciprocal of sine theta, which is going to be 1 on sine theta. Therefore, this one will be hypotenuse on opposite. Okay, so remember how sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Therefore, the reciprocal will simply be hypotenuse over opposite. Okay, and that's cosec theta. So please remember that name as well. Cosec theta. And the final one is cot theta. Okay, cot theta. So cot theta is 1 over tan theta. Okay, so the reciprocal of tan theta. So 1 over tan theta will therefore be the reciprocal of the tan theta, which is adjacent over opposite. Okay, so remember how tan theta is opposite over adjacent. Therefore 1 over tan theta is also its reciprocal, adjacent over opposite. Okay, and the name is cot theta. Alright, so these are 3 things you have to memorize. Or how I memorize it. I know some other student just told me the other day how to memorize their way of memorizing, and I thought that was pretty useful. Sec theta, okay, is the reciprocal of 1 on cos theta. Have a look at the third letter of sec. 1, 2, 3, third letter is C. Therefore it's 1 over the thing starting with C, which is cos. So I have 1 over cos theta. And cosec, again look at your third letter. 1, 2, 3, the third letter is S. So it must be 1 over the thing starting with S, which is sine theta. So 1 over sine theta. And cot theta, third letter, 1, 2, 3 is T. So this must be 1 over the thing starting with T, which is tan theta, isn't it? So cot theta is 1 over tan theta. So isn't that, I think that's a pretty helpful way of memorizing it. So hope that helps you. These 3 things we're going to try and utilize in our next few questions. Okay, so have a look at that. And let's move on to our questions. So question 14, find the exact value of cosec 45 degrees. Okay, cosec 45 degrees. Now guys, remember, cosec is 1 over sine, because see the third letter is S, that's how I memorize it. So 1 over sine 45 degrees. Sine 45, we've memorized those exact ratios, right? Exact values. Sine 45 is simply 1 on root 2. So 1 on sine 45 is 1 on root 2. Okay? 1 on root 2. And what I like to do is just multiply top and bottom by root 2, so I can eliminate that fraction. So we have 1 times root 2 over 1. So simply root 2 is our answer for this one. Okay, have a look guys. That's the answer. Alright? So as long as you remember what cosec is, this shouldn't be much of a problem. Okay, that's question 14. Now question 15 says find the exact value of 2 sec 60 degrees. Okay, 2 sec 60. Now, have a look guys. Remember how I told you that sec is 1 over cos? So sec 60 will be 1 over cos 60. The third letter is C, so I use cos. So 2 times 1 over cos 60. Remember cos 60 from our exact values table? Cos 60 is 1 over 2 or half. Remember that guys? So it's going to be 2 times 1 over cos 60 is simply a half. Now 1 on a half is simply 2, so therefore 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so 1 over 1 on 2 is 2. Therefore 2 times 2 I get 4, and that's the answer to question 15. Okay, so again that was pretty simple. As long as you remember what sec is, and as long as you remember what that exact value is, or exact ratio is, that shouldn't be much of a problem. so that's question 15. Let's move on. Question 16 says find the exact value of cot 30 degrees plus cot 60 degrees. Okay. Now, do you guys remember what cot theta is? Cot theta, look at the third letter, it's t, so that's how I like to remember it. 1 over something starting with t is going to be tan, so it will be 1 over tan 30 plus 1 over tan 60, okay, because they're both cots. So that's got that now. So again, recall your exact values, tan 30 and tan 60. Tan 30 is 1 on root 3, tan 60 is root 3, okay? So if you think these are difficult to memorize still, just put a little table next to you and try to refer to that, okay, and memorize as you go. So it's 1 over 1 on root 3. This will just be root 3, isn't it? 1 over 1 on root 3 will be just root 3. So root 3 plus 1 on root 3, okay? And then it's going to make it, what I'm going to do is put this as root 3 as a denominator. Okay, so see how this is root 3 on 1 basically? So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by root 3. So the top will be 3, the denominator will be root 3. So now that we've got the same denominator, I'm going to make that 4 root 3 over 3. Okay, so basically here, it's 3 plus 1 is 4 over root 3. And then all I did here was rationalize the denominator, okay? The simplest form will be rationalizing the denominator, so just multiply top and bottom by root 3. So I hope that's not a big problem. And then 4 times root 3 times root 3 is simply 3. That's the answer to this question. Okay, and that's question 16. So have a look, guys. That's cot. Cot is 1 over tan. So please remember those 3 reciprocal trigonometric ratios, okay?